Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your October 2021 general readings. We are looking at the first half of October from the 1st through the 15th, and this reading is for the water sign of Cancer. Our Cancerians, welcome everyone. I hope, as I always do, that you're all doing well wherever you're at. Thanks for taking the time to be here to watch this or any of the videos on my YouTube channel. And thank you as well for all of your likes and shares and subscribing, donations, feedback, comments. Those of you who reach out for personal readings, all welcome and greatly appreciated. So this reading is for the water sign of Cancer for the first 2 weeks of October 2021. That's if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Cancer. It's also relevant if you're cross-watching for a Cancerian. Of course, it's going to resonate a little differently for everyone. It's a general reading, so watch all of your signs for any additional insight and perspective. And if you find that anything resonates with you enough that you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, take a deeper look at something for yourself or as a gift for someone else, you can click on the description link below, that little arrow, which will show you my contact details, email address, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. Feel free to email me directly. I'd be delighted to hear from you. I do offer a wide variety of readings, and I can usually get back to you with that information within the same day. And I do readings full time, so I'm pretty diligent about timely scheduling. So message me if you're interested. Okay, Cancer, let's see what the first 2 weeks of October look like for you. I am using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with the Gilded Tarot. Cancer. Okay, Cancer, we begin with the Lovers. A significant decision about a relationship which is at a crossroads, the future of the relationship, or perhaps not. Sometimes this can represent that the decision that needs to be made might be about the relationship itself or in another area of life, but it's going to have a profound impact on the relationship. Sometimes it represents needing to make a decision in third-party romantic situations, but of course that depends on what's going on in your life. But it really just means a decision that's going to significantly impact a relationship which is at a crossroads. With the Lovers, we have the Nine of Wands, the Wounded Warrior card, feeling like you've been through so much already, and yet here is yet another thing. You're feeling tired, discouraged, depressed perhaps, and wondering if you should continue, feeling like maybe you shouldn't or you can't or you don't have what it takes. This is kind of the 11th hour, it's darkest before dawn card of whether or not to push through the end, which is 10. 10s represent cycle ending. So here we're very close to the end of what's been a very difficult journey. And you're wondering if you should, it looks like this is likely a relationship reading for the majority of you. Doesn't always necessarily mean love and romance, but with the Lovers, it likely is. Tired of something. You or the other person is tired of something, and a decision needs to be made about this relationship, or that may affect this relationship. Next, we have the Nine of Coins, independence, self-sufficiency. This card represents having worked really hard to get to a place where you're now enjoying the benefits of all your hard work. It's a card about being able to take care of yourself, not needing help from other people, which of course is a card that also implies self-confidence and self-assurance, because everything that you went through to get to this point of independence and self-sufficiency has, built you up internally. It can be positive or it can be negative. It really just depends. With that, we have the Star, renewed, restored hope, faith, and optimism. The Star usually comes out after a period of darkness or illness or despair of some kind, because in the tarot, the Star follows the Tower, which, usually represents often, not always, but often a very challenging, unexpected situation which shakes something down to the core or makes something crumble down. And then the Star comes out to restore and renew hope, faith, and optimism after difficulty. Next, we have the Knight of Swords. Knights are the bringers of the tarot, the deliverers, right? They have a mission, a quest, something they need to do, something they need to bring. The Knight of Swords is the Knight of Air, which is the element which governs the suit of swords, and that element governs our intellectual landscape, thoughts, feelings, perspectives, truths, ideologies. So the Knight of Swords can be a challenging card because it brings information that isn't really emotionally driven. It's just pure information or criticism. With the Knight of Swords, we have the Five of Wands, conflict, internal, external, petty drama, conflict, fighting over the same thing over and over and over again. So this is a confrontation, an argument of some kind. It might be that you or the other person, brings up a topic or a subject or some kind of news or something, and then there's conflict, there's fighting, there's arguing about it, because that's what this feels like to me. Arguing and conflict. It might be about what the decision is, about this relationship, or in some other area of life that's going to affect this relationship. This is like confrontation and arguing. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy for the first half of October is the Priestess, also called the High Priestess in other decks. This is about trusting your intuition, which the High Priestess does. Very spiritual card. The High Priestess, you won't hear her talking a lot of the time. She listens, she watches, she tries to stay very connected to God, Spirit, angels, and guides, and that's what leads her. So this is a card about trusting your intuition, your link with the divine. Some people call it their higher self. Some people call it gut instinct. Yeah. Let's clarify the High Priestess. Trusting your intuition, opening yourself up to divine guidance and intuition. The Eight of Cups. Cups is governed by the element of water, which governs our emotional landscape. So the Eight of Cups is turning your back, leaving, turning your back, walking away from that which you find ultimately not fulfilling. You may have started drinking from these cups, meaning whatever the situation is, this relationship, this person, but because some of them are tipped over and spilled out and some of them are upright, which implies that this is something you've been doing for some time, but you've decided it's either run its course, or you've decided that this is not really what you want, so you're leaving in search of your Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment and abundance. Here, it's turned out to be not enough. The Four of Pentacles, often referred to as the miser card, because it can represent someone who hoards, somebody who holds on to what they have, even if it's not very much. It's usually a card that's driven by past experiences of lack, of insufficiency. On an emotional level, it can represent, somebody being very guarded and very self-protected and not wanting to share, or to open, or to be giving, because they're afraid that they'll lose what they have. This feels like trusting your intuition and your instincts about turning your back on something, which looks like a relationship here, or leaving it because it's not enough. It's just not enough. It doesn't feel like you have enough. And you want to hold on to what little you have. And that could mean anything from actual financial and material things to, your love, your emotions, your self-respect. This can also represent trusting your intuition about perhaps leaving, feeling like leaving is the best thing to do because this person that you're involved in is the miser. They just don't want to share. Not very much. Clarify the Lovers. Oops, too many. The Two of Swords, being at a crossroads, needing to make a choice, but feeling stuck. Sometimes this card can represent a reluctance or a resistance to looking at the choice in front of you, looking at the crossroads, ignoring the intuition, which the moon, often when you see the moon on tarot cards, it implies spirituality, which also is about intuition, your connection with the divine. Here, there's a reluctance or a resistance to look at something, to see something, because then if you do, a choice will have to be made. We can't unsee the things that we see, right, once it's revealed. Strength, facing fears, doubts, insecurities, wrestling with your shadow self, we call it, the parts of ourselves we don't like to look at or other people to look at, which often represents taking a look at the responsibility we also hold, or what responsibility we share in a situation which might be challenging or unpleasant. So the Two of Swords and strength with this Lovers, this decision energy about this relationship, shows that this is a difficult decision to make. that the process of even thinking about making this decision is difficult, because we have to, if we're in a situation, a relationship with somebody, and it's probably a long-term relationship or marriage, we also not only have to take a look at what we're unhappy with in relation to the other person, but the choices and the choices that we made and the actions that we took that brought us there and also kept us there as well. So it's a difficult decision, and it's one I can feel a strong reluctance and a resistance to make. And then we have the Nine of Swords, but you're feeling so tired, so worn out, not knowing if you really, want to continue. Clarify the Nine of Wands. The Five of Cups, grief, loss, regret. Not all is lost, because you still have 2 cups that are upright and full, but 3 cups that are spilled out. Again, it's a little bit, but not a lot. Grieving over what you have or what's been what you don't have or what's been lost. The Seven of Pentacles. This is a card of taking inventory, of taking stock and making decisions based on that, taking a look at what you've invested in growing something and asking yourself, if I stay, can I continue to develop and grow this from a 7 to a 10, which is the fulfillment? Should I harvest what I can and leave? Should I keep working at it? And with the Five of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles, this is like looking at what you've invested in this relationship, in this situation, in this relationship, because that's pretty much what this feels like. Although, I have to say it could be in the work realm, job situation, or business, which again could affect this primary relationship. It's looking at, why are you feeling so tired and discouraged and worn out and feeling like giving up? Because you're looking at everything that you have invested in this situation or relationship and grieving over what you don't have, what's been lost, what isn't there. Like, has it all been for nothing? Is this the way it's going to, if I stay, is this the way it's going to continue to be? Excuse me. Clarify the Nine of Coins. The Lovers again. The Ace of Cups. A new beginning. Or just focusing on yourself and going your own way. Clarify the Star. Judgment, another major crossroads decision card. It's a call to action. And it usually has a sense of permanency to it, meaning you're called to make a decision. And that the results of that decision will likely be long-lasting or permanent, meaning if you choose to stay with things the way they are, that's probably just the way they're going to be. If you choose to do something completely different, your life path will go on a different route, and that will be long-lasting or permanent as well. The Chariot, success on a difficult path, overcoming many obstacles to get to what you want. Here we have the Tower, which is interesting because we're clarifying the Star, and remember I said the Tower precedes the Star in the tarot. Shaking something down to the foundation or something crumbling down. What's next? The Devil, negative cycles. So it feels like here, with all of these cards we're using to clarify the Nine of Pentacles and the Star, that you are seriously thinking, you or the other person. It's quite obvious here that your intuition, or you feel your intuition, is leading you to take a look at leaving, turning your back on this. Because you're tired, you're worn out. You love this person. It's a very difficult decision to make. But here it looks like you're thinking, I need to focus on myself. And perhaps the best decision for me is to end this, even though it would be very difficult, challenging, painful even, so that I can have some hope of what the kind of relationship that I really want down the road. For a smaller portion of you, it might be that you might think that leaving or saying that you're thinking of leaving might be the thing that prompts the relationship to change. Sometimes that can happen, but it doesn't happen often. I mean, typically, if you're going to make this profound a decision, it needs to be because you honestly feel that's the best decision to make for yourself, for your own security, for your own emotional well-being, self-worth, and self-value. Let's clarify the Knight of Swords. The High Priestess again. The Eight of Wands, fast movement forward, action, activity, travel, movement, and the Nine of Pentacles again. It feels like whoever's leaving or considering leaving actually comes out here and says, look, I feel like this may be the best thing for me to do. I need to focus on myself. Because this is eroding away at the sense of security and stability I have, my own self-esteem. I'm feeling like this is probably the best thing for me to do. And of course, this prompts like confrontation, arguments. Clarify the Five of Wands. There's another element here too. It could also be that the person that you're involved with is almost obsessively, perhaps negatively or toxically. There may be an obsession on their own independence, their inability to commit in a real way about the future, because they feel it's going to take away their sense of self or their sense of independence. Because I feel like this has been a long journey in this relationship to get to this point for many of you. Clarify the Five of Wands. The Queen of Cups. There you are, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. The Nine of Wands. This is part of all of this conversation or argument or debate. Here we have the Nine of Wands again. You saying, look, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of going through all of this stuff. The Ace of Wands, the Sun. I want a new beginning. I want these pressures uplifted. I want to be in the sunshine again. I want to be in the sunlight. I want light, love, warmth, laughter. I want continuity in my life. I want to not be stressed and worried and feeling like I have to carry the burden of all of these things all on my own. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the of the relationship of the reading. I think for the majority of you for whom this resonates, it will likely resonate as a relationship reading, whether, again, it's about the relationship itself, or it might be about some other area of life that's affecting your relationship, because it's quite clear here that somebody is thinking the best thing for themselves to do is to leave, to get out of this continuous circle because they're just tired of it. It's become negative and toxic, and it's eroding away somebody's sense of self. And they want to get out from underneath that. Even though if it comes to leaving, it looks like a difficult decision because there's obviously love and care and passion there. And it's kind of like, if it wasn't for just that one thing, it would be great. But that one thing is the biggest thing. It's everything, right? I have to say, too, because I feel this needs to resonate with somebody, I keep getting the image of the Emperor card in my head. So some of you may be the other person. You might be involved with an Aries. You might be involved with an older person or somebody who manifests like the Emperor, because I keep seeing that image in my head here. Just somebody needs to hear that. All right. Let's wrap this up by asking for advice, guidance. Any final messages for Cancer for the first 2 weeks of October 2021? The Queen of Wands, be assertive, fire energy, charismatic, dynamic. She makes a decision and she acts on it. Death, final endings or complete transformation so that rebirth can occur. The Five of Swords, a difficult battle won. It might not even feel like you won at the end. If this card represents a breakup or separating yourself from somebody you feel is taken from you and has hurt you. I mean, this is like winning the battle and taking their ability to hurt you, their weapons, away from them. But it's difficult. You've won, but it probably doesn't feel like you've won. You just want to go home and take your armor off and treat your wounds and have a bath and a beer, right? It's the Nine of Cups, the Ten of Cups. Yeah. Remember, the whole theme was the High Priestess, the Eight of Cups. You know, we have the Eight of Cups, somebody who's leaving to go in search of their Nine of Cups, thinking that the best thing they need to do is to turn their back, right? To go in search of your Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment, getting everything that you want, which transitions to the Ten of Cups, which is the completion, the fulfillment of the suit, feeling like, you know, you've come to the place where you have everything that you want, not just the physical abundance of the Nine of Cups, but the Ten of Cups brings love and spirituality and home and family and continuity. That's why we call it the happily ever after white picket fence card. It looks like Spirit is strongly encouraging most of you that there needs to be an ending here or an utter transformation. And an utter transformation of an unhealthy situation would be one person saying, I can't do this anymore, I'm out. Sometimes, not often, but sometimes that's what prompts the other person to go, okay, let's transform this whole thing. I'm going to change. I'm going to do that. It doesn't happen very often, and I never advise making a decision based on that, because then you'll have regret afterwards. If you're going to make a decision to end something significant in a significant way, you need to do it because you honestly feel that that's the best thing for you. If that's what ends up transforming it and it can come back together, that's great. But you need to do it not with that in mind. And I think that's what Spirit is leading you to look at here. Okay, Cancer, those are your messages for the first 2 weeks of October. I mean, this is one of those challenging readings that I sometimes say, you know, I can't really say I hope you enjoyed this reading. It looks challenging, looks difficult, potentially painful. But these are the situations and choices and crossroads that we sometimes have to face in life. So I hope that in that sense it was clarifying or helpful. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal reading, maybe taking a deeper look at something for yourself or as a gift for someone else, you can click on the description link below for contact details. Email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to hear from you and even more delighted to work with you. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the October mid-month readings. Until then, stay safe and well, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.